Hello and welcome to the transfer show. Lou, how are we, mate? It's Jack McIndoe and Lewis Aspinall. Obviously, Dave and Trev are away on the holidays, a very well-earned holiday break, gentlemen. So enjoy that, lads. And Lou, how are you? I think you're sick of me already, aren't you? We just
No,
yesterday
mate.
anyway.
We have the
how,
best shows. I don't know what you're on about.
how are we? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm all right. Like I said, I think yesterday was a bit of an emotional, given all the Isak stuff and everything. But I feel a bit more composed, a bit more calm. Oh, I'm hoping for some breaking news in the next day or two. But yeah, I'm all good, man. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, lad. We're buzzing. We're all of us, every Liverpool fans, flying. So, if you're new to the transfer show, talk about the Premier League news a bit later on in the episode. But the main, obviously, focus for the first part is, of course, the Liverpool transfer news. And we've got our phones and chat. We always ask. Dave and Trev do say, if you see something on social media, let us know if it's breaking news. I'm pretty sure, as we are live, there might be a bit of news anyway. But yeah, so talking about the Saudi Pro League and European leagues as well, the back end of the show as well. So plenty to get stuck into. Lou, had a little look at the tabs. I've done what Dave and Trev do. I've got about my computer might crash anyway, but we move. So firstly, we'll start with the Liverpool news. Really, Reds, and that is first. We'll speak about the potential outgoings leaving Liverpool Football Club, potentially anyway. So firstly, we'll go over to the Luis Diaz transfer. And this is obviously coming out this morning as well from Fabrizio Romano, kind of a little bit of an update, really. But Luis Diaz remains open to leaving Liverpool this summer if a good proposal arrives to the club. LFC have rejected bids from Bayern Munich and approaches from Barca in June as they want to keep Diaz. Both Bayern and Barca plan to try again in direct contact with agents of Luis Diaz. Lou? Thoughts on that, bud?
I mean, it's a strange one if the plan isn't to offer him a new contract, and I'm pretty sure he said that he was in talks about a new one. So it's such a strange situation where we're listening to offers, like offers are coming in for him because he's making it clear he wants to leave, but we're saying no, but not offering him a new deal. It's just a really strange situation, but it's to be expected. I think Diaz has been one of the best left wingers in the Premier League for the past 5 years. Undeniably, he's had phenomenal moments. He's a great player, but it's something that's to be expected. And I think from a financial standpoint for Liverpool, it makes a lot of sense to be maybe looking at moving Luis Diaz on. Obviously, he's 29 years old, and he's a player who financially, he's got 2 years left on his deal. Are the club going to give him another 3-year contract? That's not something we tend to do, barring the likes of Mo Salah and Van Dijk, who, for obvious reasons, got their contracts. So they're not going to increase his wages a lot. His value is only going to decrease as the year ticks on towards the end of his contract. And he's someone who, as a player, I think he contributes a lot. He got 13 goals and 5 assists last season. I think he was our second highest scorer behind Salah. But he goes through big purple patches and then dips for a while. He got 5 contributions towards goal in his first 6 matches. He then had 3 matches off, got 1 assist, another 3 matches off, 1 goal, like 6 matches off. So it's something I'm not going to lose sleep over if we do lose Luis Diaz. He's a great player, but I think if we can get what we're pushing for around that 60 million, 65 million mark, I think it's a no-brainer, especially when you look at the depth we've got in that position and the other players that we can go out and bring in to replace him.
Yeah, and as Lou's alluded to there, chat, and I think we spoke about it yesterday, and obviously the Big Decisions pod. Make sure you check that out as well, Reds. There was obviously the Red Room podcast that Lou and Grizz and the lads done last night. Obviously the preview shows will be coming on YouTube as well. So, but massive thank you for the great support over there and across the podcasts on everything really as well, Reds. Much appreciated. But yeah, Lou, I think I concur with you, buds. I think he's a highly talented player, but you just look at his age, 28 years old now. I think the potential value and monetary value that Liverpool could bring in excess. We'll speak about the potential incomings in a fair bit as well. And the big players, they're not going to be too cheap, are they? So yeah, I'll be sad to see him go, but if it is, and as Mano said there, if he is in discussions, Luke, there's not really, and especially if the player wants to go,
Yeah, yeah.
really can do that, can you? Obviously, as you said, how much do you reckon the potential increase in his wages? It was reported over the last couple of months anyway, and hit and miss really in terms of certain reports in regards to what he's earning, but I think obviously with Musiala injured now for a good 5 months for Bayern, I think it's integral, really, the potential they could bring in Diaz. In wages, do you expect a big increase in wages if he is to go to Bayern?
You'd imagine so. Well, the premise of which they're signing him isn't to be a long-term project. They've said that they want someone who can come in and make an immediate impact for a short-term period. So I think you have to give him decent wages if you want him to stay in that role, because he might want something a bit more concrete. I think if he's going to Bayern, he's going to get high wages. I don't know what the likes of Leroy Sané were on. I don't know what Gnabry and Kingsley Coman. I imagine he'd get sort of around the same market value of what they're on in terms of his wage, but I don't know necessarily what they're on. But at the same time, I can't see Liverpool upping his wage beyond that 150k mark. And this is what I mean. Like, we're not going to offer him a new deal at this stage of his career, and we're not going to up the wage for someone that we're not planning on keeping for another 3 years on top of the 2 years he's on now. So I think if he goes to Bayern for this short-term deal, we're looking at 160, 170k maybe. Like, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. They've got the money, and if he's someone who they're bringing in to get immediate success, he's going to need to be warranted getting that high level of contract, because he's going to be playing week in, week out.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Chat, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are watching on the repeat, make sure you do drop a like on the video as well. Hit that subscribe button down below. Massive thank you to everyone that's been supporting the content across all the audios and all the, obviously, video form content as well. Absolute legends, Reds. And we're going to be bouncing, and we'll speak about Isak and Ekitike in a fair bit anyway, but there's been no better time to be a Red at this moment in time. We could be, as we speak about the potential incomings in a fair bit, for one of Liverpool's greatest ever transfer windows in the club's history as well. It's a long way to go anyway. So, but that was Luis Diaz as well in that regard. And then heading over to a little bit of news, and obviously Fabrizio Romano did allude to Napoli have informed Liverpool tonight that Darwin Nunez deal can be considered off. Napoli will sign Luca as the new striker, despite Nunez opening the doors to on the move fee considered too high for Napoli as well. Nunez is still expected to leave Liverpool this summer, with the Saudi clubs and more keen. Saudi clubs and more keen as well. Disappointing, to say the least, really. If I'm being honest, Lou, I think I would have liked to have seen him. I think he'd thrive, especially with a player of the ilk of Kevin De Bruyne in behind him. Obviously, McTominay, the way in which he's impacted, he's adored really in Naples anyway, and obviously Billy Gilmore. So there's been quite a fair big exodus from the Premier League to Naples, and the bearing fruits. Obviously, Conte, the manager as well, done really well. Well, it was expected given how successful he's already been in his managerial career, especially in Italy. We spoke about this yesterday, but in terms of anyone that didn't watch, obviously, big decisions yesterday. Thoughts on that, mate, in that story, really, surrounding Darwin Nunez?
Look, we've priced them out of this move because Napoli aren't gonna. This isn't like an unknown entity. We look at what Arsenal have done with Madueke. They've spent £50 million on someone that you can see a potential future. He's still very young. Maybe they're looking at him thinking we can get the best out of this player. There's 3 years of track record history on Darwin Nunez, and for all those brilliant moments, like I've said before, like Forest and Brentford and Newcastle and Madrid and the Community Shield, countless brilliant moments that Darwin Nunez has given us with. You've also got the miss against Villa, you've got the miss against Luton, the miss against Newcastle, the miss against Union Berlin, you've got the Arsenal game. Like, there's a track record of matches which prove that he is not quite up to a high enough standard, and I think Napoli know his value. They were happy to bring him in because there is a gem of a player hidden in there somewhere. But given his history, given what we've seen, they're not going to break the bank for him. And I'm disappointed that he's not getting the move to Napoli for his career, working under Conte, working under the Serie A winners with some brilliant players around him, like you've alluded to. But in a selfish aspect, I'm happy it's fell through because it means that Saudi are the ones coming back in for him. And if Saudi are coming in, we can get higher fee for Nunez. And the closer we can get to that bracket...
What's the max for you there, Lou, that we could potentially get, do you feel?
If the amount we could get for him, if Saudi are coming in...
Yeah.
We can get what we want. So there's a comment saying Napoli underbid. They definitely did because that's his value. But I think if Saudi come in, we're talking, 60, 65, 70 maybe at a push. And that's not me saying he's worth that money. That's just Saudi as a league are happy to just have the money to spend. They will bring in whoever they want. They'll bring in for name value. They'll bring in whatever player they can for no matter what the cost is. They will overbid or bid what we want because the funds are there to do it. We saw what they've been doing recently with Osimhen. They offered them astronomical wages and fee to go there, and he said no. So from a selfish standpoint, I'm happy it's fell through because of Saudi, but I'm also disappointed that it's not going to be a furthering of his career underneath another great manager at a historically massive side like Napoli.
Yeah, 100%. Mate, chat, let us know your thoughts on Darwizzy.
Darwizzy.
Darwizzy, or whatever nickname you want to call them anyway. Whatever happens, we wish him well anyway, Reds, as we know. So we'll quickly shoot on because we've got plenty to go through. Ibrahima Konate as well, chat. And Lou, obviously this is coming from obviously Mirror, and there's been quite a lot of other outlets really out there regarding obviously Reagan Liverpool would like to sort out Ibrahima Konate's contract saga, but there's growing sense that he's holding out for a move to Real Madrid, and he's been able to speak with them from the January the 1st as well. Obviously coming into this new season. It's the same thing with Trent all over again, isn't it, Lou? It's feeling like that. Obviously with the contract length as well, but it's that strategy Real Madrid have had, getting Mbappe on a free transfer. In the last 5-10 years, they've done really well in terms of, I say they have because it's snidey, but the rules are the rules anyway, and it's disappointing. So thoughts on Ibrahima Konate, bud?
Look, Ibrahima Konate last season, up until that Real Madrid game, ironically, I think was our best centre-back until that match, and then Van Dijk just did what he does naturally. But I think he was such a key component to that side. In the air, he's terrific. He's good on the turn. He was covering up for the space that Trent was leaving him behind when he was venturing off on his journeys to, wherever he was going. But like you said, this is just Madrid doing what they do best. And what they're doing best here is that they're signing someone who we were not long ago comparing him to like PSG level of defender. We were saying he could go to any team. He's so composed on the ball nowadays, so great in the air, terrific on the tackle, amazing on the turn, good at progressing the ball forward from deep. He's developed into a top level centre-back. And the fact that we've allowed him to get into this final year of his contract, despite what people want to say about his injury record, which over the past 2 years has not been that bad, we've allowed him to get to this stage is disappointing from the perspective of the club, because we're missing out on a player who we could have sold for 60, 70 million in today's market. He's only just turned 26. I talked about all the positive features from there. If he wants to go to Real Madrid, that's his decision. He's got a year left on his contract, and people are debating what the best thing to do with him is. Do we drop him? Do we try and sell him? Do we just, not involve him whatsoever? I think that's the worst thing you can do, because you're going to be losing him for free at the end of the season anyway. He's too integral to this back four at the moment to just completely drop him. And this is a very changed back four with Kerkez coming in and Frimpong. You need to just keep using him for this year. If he's going to go, he's going to go. I just don't see the point in not using him. If an offer comes in for him now, it's only going to be for around £20 million. It's not worth losing him for £20 million. I'd rather keep him for the year, keep him playing alongside Van Dijk. We saw what he did last year. Win the league again, and then just lose him. If he doesn't want to be here, off you go, I don't care. But I don't think selling him for 20 million, which won't even afford a Mark Gahey in today's market, is not the way to go. If Jarrell Kwanzaa's worth £35 million, there is no good quality centre-back you can bring in to replace Konate for 20, 25 million pounds that we could potentially get offered this summer. So we're in a bit of a lose-lose situation, in all honesty, with it, like we were with Trent.
Yeah, and Liverpool have showed in recent years, as we all know, Reds as well. Like, we're not going to be rushed into situations or obviously transfers as well. We'll go for our main target, whether that be a centre half, a striker as well.
Yeah.
If we can't get the striker this summer, then obviously that. And obviously coming from AS as well, just to add on to obviously the tweet that we just read out before in regards to Konate, Liverpool have put allegedly is coming from AS and obviously Cope in Spain. Have put a 43.5 million price tag on Ibrahima Konate for any interested clubs this summer. Real Madrid, as Lou alluded to, the value there, and Real Madrid would be willing to offer between 20 million to 25 million euros to sign him this summer, or wait to sign him for free next year. And I think a lot of Liverpool fans will with you as well, Lou. It's ridiculous money. In all honesty, you'd rather win a Champions League, win a Premier League, and obviously, 100% all day long as well there, Reds. And just quickly going on to couple of, obviously, Konate's first team coach as well, that he's had some comments in regards to Real Madrid. It's come from Eric Haley as well, obviously Konate's first ever coach. In regards to a potential move to Real Madrid, he was asked about Konate. I'm sure he can succeed at Madrid or wherever else he sets his mind to. I think he can adapt very well under Xabi. He can play in a back three like he did at Leipzig, and also in a back 4-8 as well. So he's got that adaptability, as we know as well, Red. So time will tell. So we're going into obviously the incomings now, Lou. Exciting bit of news anyway. Obviously, as you can see there, David Ornstein. Obviously, Dave done the Daily Red yesterday, and the whole world reacted to this news. It did break Newcastle United fans' hearts, for as unlucky as it is anyway. But David Ornstein, for the audio listeners, Liverpool have made an approach to sign Alexander Isak from Newcastle United. Liverpool say no formal bid as of yet, but Newcastle are well aware of the stance. He has always been not for sale. But communicated their interest, Liverpool, for the 25-year-old Swedish international, worth in the region of £120 million. Lou, he's a difference maker. He's a title winner. He's a Champions League potential winner as well. He's a difference maker. Is money no object in regards to Liverpool's pursuit for the Swedish striker?
Well, apparently not, no. Which is blowing my mind. Where was this funding for the past, however many years?
Yeah.
Okay, no. But, this is something that I think it will predicate on if we sell Diaz, if we sell Nunez. I saw a comment earlier on where someone was saying, the combination of Diaz and Nunez's fee equates to what Alexander Isak's basically being asked for. And I agree with that. Do I think this is something that could happen as the days are going on? I'm swaying to yes. This is huge news. And you know what? Even if this is a transfer that doesn't come off, it's not known for Liverpool. So, we get linked to the likes of Bellingham, Tchouaméni. We were linked to Ronaldo years ago from Sport, and we were linked to Joey Barton at one point, when he was supposed to be a hot commodity coming through. We get linked with these players. But it's very rare that Liverpool as a club go out and have one-to-one discussions and openly say, look, we can pay the money. That's huge. This is a statement of intent for Liverpool. We've just won the league. We've got to go out and sign these big-name players. We're not in a position to just sign the next big thing. The next big thing is now, today. We have to go out there and make statement signings like this, like we did with Vert, like we did with Frimpong and Kerkez. To get Alexander Isak would be unbelievable. He would elevate our front line to different levels, not even just in terms of his goal scoring. His overall contribution to a passing range to Liverpool is in the top 19% for progressive passes, 1.14 passes into the final third, 1.34 key passes per 90, which is the top 23% of Premier League strikers. He's such a good player on the ball, despite his stature, despite how tall he is. He gets free shot creating actions a match. He's a top quality player in all aspects. He'll fit the system. He'll score your goals. He'll contribute to the other players around him, which we're not getting from anyone at the moment through the middle. This is huge. And it's not even a case of just, well, it's a lot of money. We're proving that money is no object. And that I like we said yesterday, I put a thing out the other day saying if Newcastle are going for Ekitike, it's because they know Isak wants to leave or there's rumblings. It's not to play alongside them or to rotate. And apparently it was reported earlier on today that he asked Newcastle not to make the rejection public because he doesn't want it to be out there because he's still interested. That's huge. We are starting to turn his head. And I think the further this Ekitike deal goes on with Newcastle, the further we're going to get in behind this and make something happen. And I'm convinced that we're going to sign Alexander Isak as the days go on. I'm excited. Mate, I'm dead giddy. I'm so excited.
I think we all get lost in. I think there's. I don't know. People just sit on Twitter half the time anyway. But there's plane tracking going on. It's full on. It's like when everyone used to track. Was it the Liverpool medical bus or the taxi or whatever it is?
Yeah.
So apparently there's a flight from going to Sweden or wherever. Newcastle United are situated in their pre-season at the minute, but a private jet from Liverpool, and it's apparently the same jet we use or whatever. But yeah, it's you go down a rabbit hole on Twitter and you end up in Birkenhead or whatever. So I don't know. It's so we'll lead on obviously as well, Reds. Fingers crossed we can get him, Reds, and as Lou said there, he would be a huge signing. I think if he just quickly on that one as well, but he coming into Liverpool, could we do a potential double for you? Obviously, he's got that quality, really. I think there was, we spoke about yesterday, the reports, obviously, Federico Chiesa might be potentially getting utilised through the middle as well. We're speaking about a certain Brazilian winger in a little second as well, but it's that is for me, that is not just for this season. It sets Liverpool up for years to come, really, and it's that ability to attract and yeah, it's I can't even fathom, really. I can't, like, have him waiting behind Isak potentially, Lou, feeding them goals, like, mate, ridiculous. Gerrard Torres combo potentially being better than that, or I don't know.
Yeah. Mate, it's going to be up there, and you know what? Like, I can't remember the last time that we. I mean, it was probably Torres where we went out and we signed a striker who was viewed as at the time, like a top quality player. Even when we signed Salah, he wasn't that level. Mane, debate. He'd done great at Southampton, but there was no real sort of idea of just how good he could become. Like, this is huge for Liverpool, and we normally go for the project players. We normally go for the people who will develop into top quality footballers. We've got someone now who is long term and is top quality now, like we did with Florian Wirtz. There's so many different avenues. You've got Salah who can cut it back for him because his positioning's so good. You've got Wirtz who's going to be able to put the ball in behind. You've got Isak himself who can come deep and create for the other players around him. The versatility in that front line is going to be out of this world. Like you said, Chiesa went through the middle at points. He also went out to the left at points against Preston. You've got Rio Ingamoa there. You've still got Cody Gakpo. Diaz isn't going anywhere at the minute.
Throw Kirkers and Frimpong in there as well.
Exactly.
Whacking balls into the penalty area as well. So
it's going to be beautiful.
Reds, we might do the double this season. We get him. Maybe. Jumping a gun. But anyway, we'll certainly go back to back in the Premier League. Yeah, touch wood. So there we go. Just quickly leading on, obviously, to the Ekitike bit of news as well from Fabrizio Romano. A nice one for that, Kay. I'll get to that in a little second, bud. Much appreciated. As we said, chat, if anything comes out when we're on the air, let us know and we'll get it up anyway. But as you can see there, Reds exclusive just coming from Fabrizio yesterday, but obviously everyone knows it now anyway. And Liverpool have made club-to-club approach with Newcastle to discuss the record. We know that. But if Isak won't be available, this is the key point, Liverpool can enter the race for Hugo Ekitike. Decision up to Newcastle, as they never wanted to sell Isak plus offer new deal. And that's, I think you touched on it before, Lou. It's amazing because it's a win-win for Liverpool. If Liverpool can't get Isak over the line, I think the data lads and the data departments, you've done extensive research over the last couple of weeks in regards to the Frenchman on your channel as well. He's a potential, not a bad second option for Liverpool for you.
No, not at all. Like, But first off, what a power play from us to say, right, give us what you've got, or we're just going to take what you're after. Like, that's huge. That.
Yeah.
But no, Ekitike, I had my reservations because he is a project. He is someone that you expect to sort of explode 2-3 years down the line. But as a footballer, he's very gifted. He's also very good on the ball, like we've seen with Isak. He's great at playing on the blind side of defenders. I mean, his actual positioning, his ability to use his speed to get in behind or play between defenders is top tier. He can play against the back three very well, the back four. There are worse backup options to have. Now, the fact that if we go back a couple of years, Liverpool would have definitely went for Ekitike just based on the price alone, based on the fact he's younger. The fact that we're so invested in signing Isak and we're willing to spend 120, 130 million for him shows just how desperate he is to be the number one. But if your backup option is someone who's nearly half the price of him, who's still very talented in an Eintracht Frankfurt team who've had the ups and downs recently, but he's still contributed the most goals, scored the most under 22 goals of any footballer in Europe last season on 15. He's a terrific player to be going in as your backup. And I think that Newcastle now are in a panic because they're trying to speed up the Ekitike deal because they know we're going to get one or the other. That's happening. It's up to them who we get. And I think if we're able to get Isak, great. If we're not, I'll be a little bit less excited about signing Ekitike. But it's still a great player to be bringing in who can contribute to this squad.
I'm going to ask you and chat a mad question, but we're absolutely flying this summer. Is there a way where possibly Liverpool could get to both of them? If players do leave, Nunez, Diaz, or is that too much?
I think that might be a bit...
Big outlet anyway, but it was reported this week that Liverpool allegedly have 200 odd million still to spend as well. I don't know if that's taken into account, obviously, the potential sales out the football club as well, but too much for you to get both?
Yeah, I think so. And that's not... I mean, I've just been given grief to the Newcastle fans saying you can't have Ekitike and Isak as rotation options, but I wouldn't complain. But in my mind, I think it's going to be a case of we're going to sign Isak. He's going to be the last big money expenditure that we do this summer because that's the area of the pitch where we definitely need it. We're then going to use the rest of the money. We need to get another centre-back. Obviously, Mark Gahey, that's still not going away. We're also being linked to Hato again. Some of it will be used on that. We need to bring in a backup striker. I still think Mateta, for the money that's being touted around, 30 million, the different option you can bring on to throw the kitchen sink. It makes a bit more sense to be a bit more thrifty with the other positions. Thank you very much. A bit thrifty with the other positions in terms of your Gahey, your Mateta, more so than spending 200 million on two strikers where we then still need to go out and sign another centre-back and another CDM maybe to rotate with Gravenberch or, you know, it's a nice world, but I think that at that point I would think now we're just spending the money to flash it, and I'm not for that entirely.
And we're going to be speaking about a certain Brazilian right now as well, Red. So I'm getting ahead of myself saying getting both of them, but I tell you what, Reds and Lou, this lad, I don't like his interviews that he's given in the past, but he was a young player. He'll probably get a clip around the ear if he was to come to Liverpool by satellite going, lad, what are you doing? But you've got to think long term about potentially 2 years if Salah's to retire at Liverpool or prolong his career, whatever happens, you've got a future proof, and that's a big point for Liverpool coming into not just this window but the next couple of seasons as well. And the Brazilian does showcase a glittering career, numerous Champions League winners, La Liga winner as well, and certainly has been absolutely, in my honest opinion, instrumental to Real Madrid. He's the one player that I thought Real would have kept hold of in regards to the... Because you look at Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, not the most pressing forwards. And you look at the distance covered as well in regards to... This come from, obviously, Ben Bosak as well. Rodrygo averaged the most distance covered for Real Madrid in the UEFA Champions League last season out of players who played at least 850 minutes. He also has a lot of technical and creative qualities, but also covers a lot of ground, which makes him the ideal option for Liverpool. So, potential ideal replacement for Luis Diaz, it looks like, maybe, coming in.
Mate, what a world. What a world we live in at the minute. You know what? I can see people saying like he's a bit of a diva and he does have a bit of an attitude, but I think it's fine having that. There's a difference between a Balotelli having that attitude and a Rodrygo having that attitude, because Balotelli couldn't back it up, Rodrygo can. We're talking about nowadays bringing in established players like we did with Vert, like we did with Frimpong, title winners, leaders, people who are massive for the teams we've just bought them for. Rodrygo is a multiple-time Champions League winner. He's been a key component in Real Madrid's team for the past 3-4 years, potentially. But he's also one of the best wingers in world football at progress and play. In terms of his actual progressive passes, he's ranking 5.04 per 90. And this is in comparison to the top 5 leagues in Europe, as well as the Champions League, the Europa League, the Europa Conference League, if you count that. He's in the top 11% for key passes, the top 20% for progressive passes. His actual carrying distance with the ball is second to none. Progressive passes received, 11.81 per 90. He's someone who his main idea is to get the ball and get it forward. And now the other player that we have in the team who likes to do that, who's not being asked to do too much defensive work, whose idea is to get the ball and progress it forward and make things happen, is Mo Salah. And we saw the fruits of what Mo Salah can play as in this new slot system when he's not tasked with tracking back and defending. Rodrygo can play that similar role. Now that we've got Kerkez behind, who's a bit more defensively stable than what we currently had at left back, you don't have to rely on having to cover him too much. You've also got the midfielders who can do that, like Gravenberch and McAllister in a Wijnaldum kind of role. Rodrygo's role is to stay up top, get that ball, and run with it. In terms of his carries, 41.5 per 90, and his carries into the final third and the penalty area, he's in the top 2% across Europe's top 5 leagues for that metric. He's Luis Diaz from 3-4 years ago. Great at picking up the ball, great at having a shot at goal. And there's people saying, well, he can't get in the Real Madrid team. It's because the players ahead of him are Vinicius Jr., a man who's in contention for the Ballon d'Or, and Kylian Mbappe, who's got an ego the size of Texas. You're not going to dislodge either one of those two players. So the natural thing for him to do is to move on. And it's not like we're signing someone who's a project or who's a pain or someone who's not that proven. He's won 2 Champions Leagues. He's won La Liga. He's worked with Carlo Ancelotti. This is a ready-made left winger who can propel our attack to the next. Imagine him bursting out wide, cutting inside and putting the ball to Isak, or contributing to Salah with switches of play, or working with Florian Wirtz. That's a dream signing for Liverpool, and I think it needs to happen.
It's the versatility as well, though, bud, isn't it? We know Liverpool's strategy in terms of recruitment. It's having that ability to play anywhere across the pitch. Obviously, Fabinho could play right back, centre half, DM, obviously his main position when we signed him. And obviously, Ian Graham was on record, and obviously, if you haven't checked out, listened or read his book, obviously just pinpointing how much of a massive factor that is in regards to the scouting and recruitment for Liverpool. But that versatility down that right-hand side as well, through the middle and off the left-hand flank, it looks exciting, Reds. Just quickly for the audio listeners as well, obviously the tweet we're looking at obviously has come from AS. Obviously there'll be a lot of reports, certainly over the last week or so anyway, and hopefully go into the future. Liverpool are pushing to sign Rodrygo this summer. Obviously, Emissary will travel to Madrid soon to open official talks. Real Madrid want nearly 100 million euros, but Liverpool are serious and are currently ahead of Arsenal in the race as well. Yeah. So right, all these signs, Arsenal still finish second anyway, so all good. So finally, to conclude this section of Liverpool as well, Reds, a couple of Anfield Index sources as well. This is obviously, I'll just quickly bring up the Alexander Isak. A little bit of news as well, just as we have been on air. Maybe 1 second, chat. There we go. Exciting news. Do apologise there, chat. So, in terms of the sources, in terms of obviously Dave and the lads and that, looks like in terms of in and around the estimation, Liverpool are looking like certainly, as Dave alluded to this morning, as he mentioned, Liverpool are looking to go to 130 million to 150 odd million, and money is no barrier really for Liverpool Football Club with regards to bringing the Swedish international to Anfield as well. I'm willing to just absolutely break the bank, as is their eagerness, their anticipation, their hunger, their desire as well. So just a closing point on that, Lou, it's fantastic. I know obviously Dave and Trev have been speaking about Isak and certainly Rodrygo that we've alluded to a good couple of months back anyway. And yeah, just get this deal over the line.
Get it done. This is predicated on Isak wanting the move. And by all accounts, if Newcastle say no, it doesn't mean Isak says no. And if we can make him, and I'm not condoning tapping up players. I'm not condoning trying to make them uncomfortable, but get him to force the move, because if money's no issue, Newcastle, you sign an Ekitike as a replacement and you're getting 120 million. They're a far worse position. Just look at when we sold Suarez. We didn't invest the money wisely. They are, and they're getting 120 million for their efforts. So make it happen. This is who we need to bring in to propel us to number 21, 22, 23, so on and so forth.
So there we go, Reds. That was the Liverpool section on the transfer show.